The eighth section of Twilight of the Idols is The Improvers of Mankind, and it is about 5 pages long. Nietzsche begins by noting his important insight that there are no moral facts. Morality is simply an interpretation of existing facts. Moral judgments, he says, like religious judgments, belong to a prior ignorant period of human culture, but these are still valuable as semiotic or sociological indicators of what a culture thought and how it saw itself. In section 2, Nietzsche notes that men, like animals, may be improved in 2 ways, either by breeding them or by taming them. In zoos, tamed animals become weaker and less dangerous, and it is just the same way with men. He specifically cites the examples of the monasteries of the Middle Ages and the spread of Christianity among the Germans, subduing and domesticating the German spirit. The church, he says, ruined men while claiming to improve them. In sections 3 and 4, Nietzsche gives a rather disturbing example of breeding from India. He notes that this requires a kind of cruelty towards the lower castes. He observes that sanitary restrictions on the lower castes created a disease epidemic, thus cutting their population. And he says, this is the assertion of an Aryan, noble, and pure-blooded humanity. He then contrasts the ethic of Christianity and Judaism with this, calling them fundamentally anti-Aryan religions, anti-noble, anti-pure religions. Christianity, he says, is the revaluation of all Aryan values, because it preaches the gospel to the poor and the base and elevates the lowly and pulls down the mighty. In section 5, Nietzsche concludes by noting that breeding and taming moralities are opposed to each other. Then he asks, what is then the psychology of these improvers of mankind? Their chief feature seems to be their willingness to lie in the service of improvement. Every improver of humanity, he says, never doubts his right to lie in service of improving humanity. All means so far used to make mankind moral, says Nietzsche, have been thoroughly immoral. And this is the lesson of the improvers of mankind. That brings us to the end of this section. We'll look at section 9, What the Germans Lack, next. Goodbye.